Hiya folks, we're back in the log cabin again. I want to do a little bit of an experiment with this diesel heater I've got here. This is a 5 kilowatt one. I have been running it on diesel, which obviously they're supposed to do, but I'm trying to get a cheaper method. Now I know people have used engine oil, mixing that with 30% diesel and stuff like that, but I want to try and run it on house oil, which is known as house oil here in the UK, which I think is called kerosene. So I've drained this completely out. All the lines have been emptied, right the way down to the base of the unit where the feed comes in. As you can see, they're all dry. So what I'm going to have to do is fill this up with kerosene. I've actually got some in this container over here. I bought actually 25 litres of it and I paid £30 for it. So it's just over £1 a litre. So let's just put this in here. I did put it in an old paraffin container, look, but it's not paraffin in there. This is actual kerosene, or house fuel as we call it here in the UK. So let's just put some in there. I must say it looks very much like paraffin, so I'm not sure whether this is going to work, folks. I've seen loads of people do different things on YouTube, but as I say, we're giving it a real life test. Right, so that is the fuel inlet. As you can see on this tank that they provide you with, folks, it's on the side, and there isn't a fuel filter in on this one. It just comes from there straight into the back of the fuel pump there, and then from the fuel pump through there straight down to the inlet underneath there, which you can't see, to the actual diesel heater itself. And as I say, a lot of people say, oh, it should have had a filter on it, but if you see, this is actually on the side, and any sediment that comes in here is going to settle to below where that fuel is, so you're never going to drain the tank fully anyway. So that could be another reason why they haven't bothered with a fuel filter there. So let's just get this lid on. I did put a cable tie around mine, folks, just to help it stabilise it, but they do flop about a bit. And I've got the exhaust pointing out towards the door at the moment. The air filter is just hanging down there for the combustion. Right, so I've just got a power supply here, folks. You'll hear a lot of people say you need a battery, you need a solar panel, you need a trickle charger and all that. I'm happy with a battery charge. If the power goes off, I've seen people, I've never actually seen anyone who said it's blown one of these up. I've heard a lot of stories where people repeat to each other, they see a comment and they pass out to someone else, but I've actually seen videos where people have turned these off and nothing's happened. So you take your chance or whatever. In the UK, if it's really cold out here, I won't be out here working anyway, so it won't be even on. So I'm just going to power on the diesel heater now. You should see it come on. Right, so I haven't turned it on yet, but I've got the controller on, and to prime the pump, which we've got to do first to fill up the fuel line, you hold the spanner and the right arrow and let go, and it says H off, as you can see there. If you press the left arrow, it says H on, and you'll hear the pump. That is now priming the system. So all we're looking for is that fuel to come out of the tank through there all the way down to underneath there, which you probably can't see, and when I see it enter here via the hose, I know that it's been primed, and then I can turn it off. So I'm just keeping an eye on it here, and I'll come back to you when it's primed. And one thing to say as well, if you over prime it on the first startup, you'll probably get loads of smoke coming out here if you over actually leaving it on. So right, I'm now going to turn the pump off, and then you hit the spanner button again, folks, and that should take you back to normal. There we go. So right, I'm going to try turning the diesel heater on now. Let me face it the other way. So on the controller, I'm going to turn the controller on, which it now says on. The fan started up and the glow plug looks like it's on. And you should hear the combustion when it starts to roar a little bit. There's no pump on yet, no fuel pump on yet, because the glow plug's heating up. There's a bit of smoke coming out of the exhaust, folks. So something must be happening. There's a bit of fumes, only a bit of fumes coming out of there. You probably can't see that. Right, there you go. There, it's working. It's working, folks. Now, that could be because I've over primed it. You see that smoke? That hopefully should clear. We'll see in a minute. But at the moment, that seems to be running on kerosene. We'll wait and find out. There's me outlet, me hot air. But as I say, let's see whether that stop smoking. Oh, that's really smoking, isn't it? Is it cleaning? Here we go, it's cleaning the combustion up now, I think, look. Once it gets up to temperature, right, we've got warm air coming out, folks. We have got warm air coming out. And I think you'll see now that the combustion is a lot cleaner now it's up to temperature. We're running on kerosene, pure kerosene, which is house fuel here in the UK. Yeah, it's because it starts up for the first time. I might have over-primed it. That's running on kerosene now, look. It's venting down. I don't know why it's venting down, let's have a look. Whether the speed control is... can't see that. Let me just spin that round a little bit, folks. Oh, it was on its lowest setting, folks. So let's whack it up. And the arrow to turn this one up is this way. Look, you think that would be the down arrow, wouldn't you? So let's go right up. Up to 5.5. See how it handles that. And as you can see now, folks, look, clean burn, look. Nothing there at all. So that was probably more to do with the priming than the actual fuel itself. And also with these little diesel heaters, you get a lot of people say that, oh, if you don't use a battery in that, it will blow up and all that, and the circuit board melts and all that. The actual circuit board on these things is mounted behind the heat exchanger. It's not, if it was sitting over the top, I could understand that, but as I say, I've not seen any videos where they've blown up. And people say, oh, if they blow up, they'll be dangerous and all that. It could warm up and melt the case because they rely on a fan to blow hot air, or blow air over the actual main body of it, which is like a radiator basically. That's how you push the heat out of here, which is, makes it sort of a radiator. Right, let's have a little, see what we're running at temperature wise. Look, that's really hot. There we go, look. Do you see that? 125 degrees centigrade, look. That's really hot. And as I said, I've got 25 litres of house fuel, kerosene. I've got that for £30, so it's not much over £1 a litre. So I don't know how much it will cost where you are, but this thing is running as sweet as a nut and giving out plenty of heat on kerosene as opposed to diesel. Straight kerosene, that is. I know people have done engine oil, used engine oil, mixed it 30% with diesel. Trouble with that here in the UK, legally you're not allowed to burn engine oil, but I know people do. But this is illegal fuel at the end of the day. So paraffin, I would imagine, if this, I do use paraffin, I bought some paraffin as well, but trouble with this is, these 4 litre bottles of paraffin now, they used to be about £6. They're now £12 for 4 litres. So that puts paraffin out. But as I say, that doesn't mean to say that you can't use house fuel or kerosene like I'm doing here, and it'll be a lot cheaper to run your diesel later on. One of the other things as well is that you can buy spares for these. I have got a spare pump here, relatively cheap. I can't remember how much it was, but that was pretty cheap as well. So I've got a spare pump. I've got a couple of spare filters as well there. Again, all dirt cheap stuff. And you can buy the repair kits as well, folks. So in here, I've got a brand new glow plug there, which you can actually fit, and it's simple to do. They also give you a couple of gaskets for it if you want to strip them down and clean them. I don't think it will matter in this sort of instance, but if you're using oils and stuff like that, like used engine oil, then you might want to clean it after a year or so, or when it starts throwing up fault codes. And there's the special tool to take the glow plug out as well. So this kit was only cheap. I'll leave a link in the description below for these kits so that you can buy them yourself. And you can even buy the little controller box on the back as well, the one that everyone moans about, and it's all plug and play. You haven't got to do any soldering or anything, you just plug them in. So there you go. I may be experimenting with this pump by making an enclosure for it and trying to silence the clicking down, because if you're in a camper van or somewhere where noise is critical, for example, you don't want to hear this ticking. So I'm going to be trying a little stealth thing, which I'm trying to work out at the moment, and then I'll bring it to you once I've done it, after I've tested it. Anyway, so there you go. These things run absolutely fine on kerosene by the sounds of it. Kerosene's a lot cheaper than diesel. Give it a go. That's really hot, folks, I tell you, really hot. It's getting hot, folks, look. That's pushing out 158 at the moment, degrees centigrade out of that spout. A lot of people also are looking into reclaiming the exhaust heat as well. You probably know that my one I've got fitted over in my log cabin over the back there. I've wrapped it because sometimes in here there's dust and fumes, and sometimes them exhausts can glow red hot. That's the reason why I wrapped it inside. There are people who have actually scavenged the heat off of the exhaust and are using that to warm up stuff as well. I may look into that in the future as well. I've seen a couple of videos, and if I can get it sorted out, I'll bring that to you as well, where you can actually use the exhaust heat as well in a safe way. Also, I've got you can buy upgraded fuel line as well. I've bought some generic stuff there, which is heavy duty. And if you're having a trouble with your exhaust because you've only got a certain area, you can buy extension exhausts as well. Again, all on eBay. This one's an ultra long one, as you can probably see there. I don't want to straighten it out, but you can see, I think it comes out to about that long sort of thing. So you can tap that onto your existing one as well, and in case you need to go through a wall or something. So all these bits are accessible for these Chinese diesel eaters, and they give off absolutely fantastic heat. As I say, we've got the main one over there, and we're happy with that. This one, I'm still going to find a location for it. I'm not sure yet. Maybe in the other end of the workshop. And as you can see from that exhaust, there is no smoke blowing out from there at all. Look, absolutely clean combustion. Now just to turn it off, exactly like the same the other way, press the off button. There we go, just off. And it won't go totally off because the little fan will still keep running and cool off that heat exchanger in there by blowing air across it, because this thing at the moment doesn't really get hot. That's up to 40 degrees C, that casing there. The heat exchanger is actually right behind there, look, right behind there. It's a little bit warm, but up here, which is where the circuit board is, up there in a little box, that one, as you can see, is 23 degrees centigrade. So that is, the air goes that way with the heat exchanger actually sitting here, and the controller's up here somewhere behind it. So if that fan inside did not pack up, or power did go, the heat exchanger would heat up more at the front there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one, folks. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.